Welcome back to another episode of Industry Talk with Brandon Andre, and I'm here with.
Felix Allen, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. And he's a model signed with Models1 here in London, and we connected via social media. Felix, tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, just tell us where you're from and your backstory here in London.
So my dad's from Peru and my mum is from Bournemouth, actually. It's a town in the south of England. I've been brought up in London my whole life. I've lived here since day one. I'm half Latino.
Which I think you're the first Latino person that I'm interviewing. Did you, by the way, see... Oh, yeah, I think you did, because I think we talked about briefly the Latino models thing that I did.
Yeah.
That was pretty... The first video about that was pretty big, because a lot of Hispanic people do not see themselves represented, but they don't know that they are. Because models like you, where it's
I mean, unless I'm tanned, I don't look too Latino.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean, so we connected because my friend Angie, who came to London to visit, ran into him. But how did she know that you were Peruvian, or how did that?
So I was doing a social media video where I was going up to people in the street, and Angie was taking a photo with her friend in front of the Big Ben, and I went behind and photobombed and joined their photo. And then I ended up like having a conversation, and she was from Peru, and I was from Peru.
So you guys connected. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So that's how I found out he was Peruvian. But obviously, I don't know if it works differently here, because in California, if you're like Hispanic, that's kind of like, well, duh, everyone's kind of like Hispanic. But here, how rare is it to come across Hispanic people or Latin people?
I think I've probably met 3 Peruvian people in London since living here. I wouldn't say it's that common.
Right. Do you feel Peruvian at all, or do you just feel like a British kid?
No, I'm definitely a London kid, but my dad is so connected to his roots and so in love with his heritage and needs the sun, needs to be in Peru, etc. So it's definitely something that I've always been close to my heart, and going on trips there many times, seeing my family there, which, you know, Peruvian Latino families love to have a massive family. So
Yeah.
got a lot of people out there to see. It's definitely made me very connected and fell truly in love with that country.
So have you thought about that? You being half Peruvian is like a big deal to a lot of people who are Latin and don't see like a lot of Latin people in modeling, or at least they don't think that they are. Because again, in that video, I talked about how there are actually a lot of Hispanic people in modeling. You just can't tell sometimes because they look mixed, or sometimes they look white. Do people call you white looking? Like in England, how does it work here? Because in the US, it's like you look white is what they would say.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
think it would be the same. My dad would put he looks mixed. He looks Hispanically mixed, but
so does your dad have the same pigment as you?
No, he's a bit more darker, but our pigment isn't dark. It's like olive. It's more purple undertone. It's more like you've got a nice tan, basically.
Do you get nice tans?
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, have you ever thought about yourself being like someone that represents like the Hispanic side of yourself, or have you never really thought about?
Not really. I think in the modeling industry, it's a great thing if you are mixed, if you're not just from Britain, if you're not just London, if you've got a bit more, if you've got something interesting about you, it's great. I've never felt like I've represented a community in that same way.
Which is interesting, because it's probably why you got signed, is because you have the Peruvian genetics, right?
Yeah, well, my dad has the big lips, and the big lips is something that I got bullied with going up from school, and that's something that I would say is quite Hispanic. And because
I just saw a video on TikTok literally today where this guy said Europeans, or I don't know if he said Europeans or the English, have notoriously small lips. They have no lips, he says.
Yeah.
I was like, is that really a thing? I never knew that was a thing. But he was like, they have no lips.
Yeah, no lips.
So you got Latin lips.
I got big juicy lips. I used to be called Fish Lip Felix.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that from that one Shark Tank or Shark Tales? Wasn't
Shark
that his
Tales.
name?
I don't know if it was
Will
Felix.
Smith? Wasn't his name Felix?
No, I don't think it was.
That'd be priceless if it was.
But yeah.
Okay, do you know any Spanish?
Yeah, of course.
Say something so that people can at least feel that you're like Peruvian.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy Felix.
He can't say his last name in Spanish.
It's hard under the pressure. It's hard under the pressure. It's hard under pressure.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do a bit later on where I'm speaking to him in Spanish. No,
Oh,
but it's
God,
cool because
no,
I
no.
don't speak fluent Spanish either, so I'm not even trying to. I'm not the best representative of like Latin America or being Hispanic, but it is something that as a music artist I came to like appreciate because there's a huge audience of Latin Americans or just Spanish speaking countries in general that really do gravitate towards you when you admit that you're of that background and stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like in the UK, I mean, being brought up in London and that's all you know, that's where you are. You don't practice your Spanish, so you really fall out of touch with it. I can understand it pretty well, and I can get by. I can tell you, let's go to the shops, or I need to get this food, or etc. But I couldn't say it beautifully in the way that I would want to. But I would just want to spend 1 month out there, 2 months out there, and then I'd be able to really nail it.
Well, don't do what I did. I went to Guatemala and I did like my first performance ever on their live television. And then they interviewed me in Spanish. Okay, and they had a translator, and I still was like, no, I don't need no translator. And then it was honestly though, Hispanic people they actually appreciate you trying to speak Spanish than if you like never try at all.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I think that they found me amusing, and I found that to be like whatever. Like at that point forward, I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna pretend like I know Spanish. I'm gonna just try my best. I'm gonna try,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna speak my broken Spanish, and I know that they're gonna love me for it because at least I care to try.
Yeah.
So that's kind of been my philosophy towards that and stuff. So tell me about how you got started in modeling and how you got scouted. Because you got scouted, right?
Yep. I got scouted skateboarding in South Bank Skate Park when I was 15 years old. I had long brown hair, and then I bleached the whole thing blonde. So I had long blonde hair that quiffed out at the front, and then I buzzed it. And then that week when I buzzed it, I was into my skateboarding, and I was skateboarding in South Bank, topless, skinny, ribs out. It was sunny in the summer, and two middle-aged women came to the barrier, came to the side and looked at me, and I looked at them like, what's this? Who are they looking at? I looked at my boys who I was around, and they were like, you come here. And I was like, what's happening here? Then I said, all right, okay. Walked over to them timidly, and they said they were with Models1, which is one of the biggest agencies in Europe, and they said, we'd like to scout me.
What did you first think? We're like, this is a joke. They're scamming me. Or did you think that they were the real deal?
I thought they were the real deal. That week, I got scouted by 3 agencies: W, Anti, and Models1.
That week?
That week.
Where's this skate park again?
Yeah, well, it's notorious for scouting, but I didn't get scouted there every time. One time it was through social media, another time just out in a different place in central London. But yeah, that week I got scouted by those 3 agencies, and I went for meetings with all of them. And after speaking to all of them, I picked Models1, who was my favorite and who I'm with now to this day.
Nice. What was your perception of modeling before you got scouted? Like, was it something that was even ever on your mind?
I don't think so. I was into my fashion because I was skateboarding, and when you're a skater, you're into your fashion. It comes hand in hand. So I was wearing my baggy jeans, and I was wearing my big graphic t-shirts, like stuff like that. But I didn't think about modeling in the same way. I did social media. I was posting on Instagram and posting skateboarding clips and photos of me with my boys chilling with our skateboards. Within the same week, I got scouted for modeling. I got scouted for social media from an agent. And so,
How many followers did you have on Instagram at that time?
like 1.2k.
Did you have a TikTok at that time too?
Yeah, which probably had maybe 15,000 followers.
So is that why they scouted you? Because you're 15K on TikTok?
Maybe. Yeah, but at the time, 3 years ago, 15k was quite a lot. And it was quite easy to get because anyone who posted on there like really quickly boomed. But that week I opened up to that kind of world pretty quick.
So after you got signed, what did work look like for you? And what did that process look like, especially here in London? Like, same process, I'm assuming. You got developed, test shoots, build your portfolio, and then how fast did it take for you to get your first job?
So for me, it was quite different. I don't even know if I got a test shoot done before I did my first job. I don't think I did. I did my first job for Sneakers and Stuff, which is quite a household name, here in London. It's a high street brand. They have shops all over, and they sell trendy footwear, basically like Nike shoes and
Night shoes?
Nike,
Oh.
Nike and Adidas
I
and
was like, what are
Converse
night
and,
shoes?
so yeah, so I did that job 1 week into my modeling. I got scouted by them. I went into the agency. I signed the contract. My parents signed the contract with me because I was underage. I probably did one photo shoot in the agency with the agents for
Like
who
the
was
digitals?
yeah, like digitals, but with the agents who were taking the photos. And then by the end of that week, I had the job next week
Oh, wow.
for sneaks and stuff. And then that first month, I was booked once a month for a different job. The next job I did was with a brand, Ning Dynasty, and they actually spray painted a graphic in my hair. So in that job, I worked with Kai Issa Jamel and another model from Models1 called Emmanuel, and another model who was Latino from Colombia. Really interesting faces. We all were really interesting looking, and I had my bleached blonde buzz cut, and that was the first time bleaching my hair for that job. And then they spray painted Ning, which was Ning Dynasty was the brand name. It was like silk shirts, luxury silk shirts. And we shot in the studio for the first time, and it went really well. But
So, question real quick, because you mentioned the Colombian model. Was your Latin background brought up ever in a job or among your agency? Like, has that ever been like a marketing selling point for you as your look?
I think it's something I've understood that is a marketing selling point, so I have brought it up as much as possible.
Like on set, like, oh yeah, I have
All the
Peruvian.
time.
Yeah,
All
okay,
the
that's
time.
cool.
With my agency, with castings, with clients, with anyone,
Which
at
is
any time.
important for like models to understand. Like, if you are mixed, sell that, because that's probably gonna be more interesting to people than just not.
Mate, if I was fully British, if I was just from England and I went to a job and said I'm English and I'm from England, I mean, unless they're casting for a job where you need to look a bit chavvy and you need to have that British look, which I've done jobs like that, then they don't want you. They want people that are more interesting. So yeah, you've got to shout about it.
Yeah.
You've definitely got to shout about it.
No, especially one thing that I learned being here in London, though, like it's interesting because like, you know, you can go to a different market, but you don't really realize you have to look at the demographic of people, and London is very diverse.
Yeah.
So it makes sense as to why it's a big commercial market here too, because there's a lot of different types of people that are here, and it's very much like any big city in New York and in LA where you have different complexions of people. Being that it was e-com, did they ever bring you back for more shoots?
No, it was more of like an edgy ecom. It wasn't like proper ecom. It was like 2-3 looks, and everyone was very different. And we shared like who we were. It was a bit story based actually. It was like they did a video piece which was really short for social media, which was like, I'm Felix Allen and I like this and this is who I am. And
Right.
after that, I worked once a week for like a month. And I was like, wow, is this how modeling is? When you get signed, you just
15,
work
holy
like
crap,
that?
huh?
Like, this is insane. I think I turned 16 like within the first week of when I joined.
And then how tall were you then?
5'8", maybe?
So you were working at 5'8",
Yeah,
being 15 years old.
yeah.
Wow.
I worked globally. I was working with Milan at 5'8".
That's so rare, bro. I never hear anything like that ever.
Yeah, so I did a campaign for Yoox, Yoox, which is basically a Selfridges. You know Selfridges?
No.
Dover Street Market.
No.
Fuck. Designer,
I'm a fraud, sorry.
designer concept store.
Okay.
Designer concept store with like
Big deal.
Moncler, Gucci, Versace, these kind of brands. The Milan version of that. I did their summer campaign 2 years ago when I was 16 years old, and I was probably around 5'8",
Must
maybe
have been
5'9".
really skinny then, huh?
I've always been. I'm the same size I am now.
No,
Really.
interesting. What,
Always been
there
skinny.
must have been something about you, because like, I mean, have you come across anybody that has your same kind of story, like 5'8", 15, and then like still in fashion working, or do you find yourself kind of being an anomaly?
You definitely one of the smaller guys when you go to the casting, but I don't know if.
But that you never like been aware of like, I'm actually like a unique case, not the norm.
Maybe. I don't know. Not really. I think that
You're the first. You're the first male petite model.
fuck off. That's crazy. Oh god.
Oh my
That's not marketable. That's not branding.
Oh my gosh.
Brandon, that's not branding.
That's so funny though. No, but to be fair, that is a flex that you're the exception.
Yeah, well,
you
there's
know?
something interesting about me, eh?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, because look, the only other instance in which that happens, to be fair, is if you're the son of someone famous.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah,
So-
but that's what's cool is that you've broken through and you've been able to work. I mean, unless do they lie about your height or no?
No, the reason why I say 5'8" is because my card sheet only until 2 months ago was still 5'8". They didn't change it.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's 5'10" by now, right?
Yeah.
Or 5'11". But
It says 5'10" on the card sheet right now.
when did you last get measured?
Like a month ago, maybe
And,
2 months
and you're
ago.
5'10"?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's not 5'8", by the way. He was 5'8", but it's just crazy because he was working at 15, which is another anomaly. I can only say that word in a British accent for some reason. Anomaly.
Every model should not only be modeling, 100%. And if that's working a job or doing something, you should be doing something. There should be something you're passionate in that you're doing, because modeling is not a career that you can do forever. It isn't. I went to Korea for 3 months to model, and that was last year in June to September. And up until then, I was working a retail job this whole time alongside it. But it's tough because balancing college retail work and modeling and social media was always a challenge. I was basically working with 4 different bosses and 4 different jobs that I had to answer to and reply to emails about and manage myself and make sure that everyone was happy this whole time. It was a real challenge when I was having to miss college days or miss work days on short notice because I had modeling jobs in Milan or whatever, which was crazy to them, but to me it just became quite just my life.
Now you mentioned something that I forgot, which is the social media marketing aspect of things. So in that same first year, because you got signed to an agency for social media at the same time as you did a modeling agency, correct?
Yeah.
So how much did you make from social media, or did you include that with like your model earnings?
No, I didn't include that. I would say less. I've not earned nearly as much as I have through modeling.
Just like comprehensively, or through your first year?
Comprehensively.
Yeah, well, you're building that up.
Yeah, it's still small, but fortunately modeling has been like very consistent for me. I'm an anomaly because
Are you finally coming to realize that?
I do know, but I don't like to gloat about that. Like,
It's not gloating, it's being self-aware. I think it's just like you got to be self-aware because as a business owner, you have to know your product and you have to know how your product is doing in the market and why it's responding. It can't be a mystery. It should be like, yeah, I know why I'm an anomaly.
look, I'm a good model.
Now you're getting cocky. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
Look, let me preach. Let me preach because when I walk into set, maybe this is something that I've worked on and trained, or maybe I just kind of some reason somehow I knew it from day one. But I walk in and I know what to do. I know how to impress the photographer. I know how to. The photographer, I can see what they want me to do without them telling me. You know, they just need to nudge their elbow, and I know what they want me to do. I know they want to turn around and tuck my shoelace in. I know that because of the body language, and I can read that. And I think that is something that sets me apart because there's a lot of dumb models. There's a lot of dumb models. All of you models are dumb. No, but there's a
First
lot.
of all, I thought because of your accent, I thought you said this. First of all, there's a lot of Dumbledores. I'm like, Dumbledores?
We're not speaking about Harry Potter here. Lock in.
Harry Potter? Anyway, sorry.
There's a lot of dumb models. I don't think that, but I do think that.
No, that's 100%. Are you kidding me? Yes. I'll support that statement.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, I think it's easy. I think it's quite easy to tell what the photographer is trying to tell you without having to tell you. If your shoelace isn't tucked in, you know that you need to flip and tuck it. Like, but a lot of models don't see that and don't do that.
It's called
organically.
Anticipation. They don't anticipate. But and that's funny because even when I do my development with aspiring models or models and I do their digitals, like I always have to teach them like basic things that they don't think about. Like for instance, when you're posing with your hand in your pocket, sometimes you can flip your shirt and the bottom lining of the shirt gets flipped. Like I have to teach them and I always instill in them, always look at your shirt. Always make sure your outfit is like your sleeves are fixed, your bottom of the shirt is not flipped. And that's like a thing that you could do to help your career, because someone shouldn't have to tell you, fix the ball move shirt, fix this. Like, you should kind of already have like self-awareness of when something doesn't look right on you, which is kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think there's a lot of models. I think naturally, gratefully, I was able to pick up on things really quickly, and I found it quite natural. It came easy. It came easier to me, and also a big part of my game, or how I work the industry, because I think a lot of models also don't see it as working the industry. You got to work this shit. Like, this is not. I go on set and I'm there working, and I don't mean just modeling. I mean, I've met everyone. I know all their names. I've got them all on social media if I want them all. But if I don't see them as an asset, then I might not take them on. Like, do you know what I mean? I've worked the room and I've already known what they all do, and already see how that could value me or I could value them. Because I also think it's big importance to give value to other people, how you can help other people. That will come around in other ways. But I've already worked the set. I've already seen this photographer, and I like this photographer, and I've seen his work on Instagram. And so, oh yeah, cool. I know I need to speak to him. So let's go. Like, when he's sitting on the food table and I'm sitting having lunch and all the models sit together. No, I'm gonna go sit myself right in the center of their team talk, to be that model that is interested in them and is interesting. If you don't do anything other than modeling, you're not interesting.
Yeah.
If you're working a retail job, you're somewhat interesting. You have something to talk about. I think that every model should do something else with their life, follow a passion that they have, because that makes you more interesting. That makes you more of a person, more real. And it makes you smarter, and it makes you more interesting to speak to. And at the end of the day, as much as your looks are a big thing, and they are in many cases the only thing that they're looking at, but your looks get you through the door, the looks don't keep you there. Your looks get you booked, and on a paper, how your image looks, or how you pose, or how you model, or how your face looks on paper is how you got into the job and did the job. But what makes you get that job again is because you're their friends going to the pub with them by the end of the week.
Yeah, you're being like intentional, which is a good thing. And one thing that I want to speak to what you're saying too is that sometimes, I'm 14 years older than you, and I don't imagine that you do this, but something to when people are listening to this, I want them to understand that there's strategy behind how you navigate this industry. And what he said is true. You work this industry because they're going to work you. But you have to do it in such a craftful way that they don't feel like you're being strategic. Most people who are doing this are contracted workers. No one is necessarily employed. Models are not employed. And a lot of people what that means when you're working with a photographer or a casting director, and these people are not employed, they're contracted. That means that they decide when they work, and they're not under some sort of corporate ladder. They don't follow the corporate structure. So you don't approach this industry the same way that you would in the corporate world. And another example of that is in the fashion world, people communicate very casually in email sometimes. It's not as professional as you would in the corporate world. Why? Because people are choosing to do this, and they love doing this because of the creative and the passion, which means that relationship-based dynamics are so critical because they want to create with people they like. It's all about likability, which means they want to make sure that the connections you establish are somewhat genuine. So while it's important to be strategic, it's also important to be genuine so that you don't feel like you're being worked.
That's what I was going to say is, thankfully for me, I love talking to people. I love getting to know who they are. I love hearing about their passions. I love hearing about what is interesting to them, what they've done recently. I love that. I love just understanding people. And so fortunately, I wasn't having to work anyone. I wasn't having to be crafty with my ways. I just wanted to go around the room and know what everyone was doing, because that's interesting to me.
Well, yeah, you seem to be very charismatic and an extrovert. Are you an extrovert?
Yeah.
I think you probably might be the first person that I've interviewed that's an extrovert. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about everyone that I've interviewed, I think you might be the only extrovert. I actually don't meet a lot of extroverts.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone I'm around is like introverted, and like I kind of sometimes feel like in my own world.
Do you think that's because you click with introverts more because you are extroverted?
Well, they say that. That's
what they say.
Yeah, they say that extroverts attract introverts.
Yeah.
I think sometimes too, my age, if they're younger than me, I can deal with an extrovert. sometimes if they're my age, it always becomes competition. Like there's always this competitive nature, and it's never because I'm competing with somebody, because I don't honestly, I'm like so content with myself that I don't feel the need to compete, and I'm also like really uplifting of others. But a lot of times if they're young and prideful and extroverts, they'll see me as competition, or they'll try to like, it's like an ego thing, and I'm just like, I don't need to shine. You can shine if you want. Like I don't care. But yeah, I don't really know a lot of extroverts. It's actually sometimes really I feel like literally even my two models that I'm signed, I think they're both like introverts. One's a little bit more extroverted, but they're both, I have to like push them to get like to, and that's like sometimes I feel like I'm trying to build myself within others, like to like push them and challenge them so that they can learn to be like charismatic and like this way.
Yeah, well, for me, I was 15 years old and I was walking around a room getting to know everyone. That is so powerful.
Which is why I was saying what I was saying to you earlier, because when I see that, it's to me it's rare, because I'm like, oh, I never really see this. I see more of the introverts. I see more of the people that are like being developed. I don't really see people like you who come already with like what I have, and I'm like, cool. Like, that's why I'm like, oh, that's dope, because it's like a star recognizes a star. So and and I think that's dope. But I think it's important, because I think when people watch this, they need to hear how you talk and hear how you carry yourself to know how to recognize that, what I call star power. Like it's a star thing. Like not everyone has it. It's something that people are born with. Charisma can be taught to a certain extent, but for most people that have it, it's just very natural, and it is what it is.
One thing for me from a young age, which was really interesting, was when I was 16, I worked with Tommy Hilfiger for about 8 months. I went over once or twice a month to Amsterdam when I was 16 years old. Outside of, left college, left my family once or twice a month to go and do their ecom, which was really interesting.
Legal, by the way? Because I've created in the States a whole course for parents to teach, or it's basically called Raising a Model Parent Masterclass, teaching parents how to get their kids into child modeling. And in child modeling, and we're talking about less than 18 years old, a parent has to be on set. So how do they get?
I think it's different in Europe. I think from 16, from 16, you're maybe more considered as an adult. But I was traveling since, was I 15? No, probably 16 when I started properly traveling. When I got to the airport, in Faro Airport in Portugal, and they said to me I had to have a long list of things, five bullet points of things I had to have to go through the border, because I was 16 years old and I was going there to do this modeling job. And so I was there stressing out, calling my parents, calling the agency, calling the client. It was a funny situation. That client hasn't booked me again, probably for the fact of that. But so it has become, it was a struggle here and there. But apart from Faro Airport, it's been fine. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, so Tommy Hilfiger.
I've done probably every magazine in London you can think of, from Days to Greatest twice to Arena Home Plus was my first magazine. Done Adidas stuff, Nike stuff, Samsung stuff.
Okay. Well, you've done a lot of editorial, so you do basically, it sounds like you basically do a healthy balance of fashion commercial stuff.
Yeah. Luckily my agency is tailored towards more higher fashion.
Right.
Editorial, more funky, more the Tiffany and Co, the Versace, these kind of brands, that's their more bread and butter. But because I have a more commercial or in between look where I can do commercial and I can do that, it means that through them I basically scoop up all the commercial jobs in our agency. There's about 5 boys that really work there around my age, and I scoop up a lot of the commercial jobs, and then means I get some of the high fashion jobs at the same time through that.
So you mentioned earlier to me that you've done Fashion Week as a 5'8", 16-year-old male model. How? Today's podcast is brought to you by me, Brandon Andre. If you're a model who wants to become a working model, then you need to enroll in my Model Masterclass today. In my online class, I teach models how to make more money by showing them how to manage their careers as a business. From getting signed, to building a portfolio that gets you jobs, to building an audience on TikTok and Instagram, then monetizing it, to learning how to win the favor from your agents and casting directors, to learning how to brand yourself on social media, and how to lure in brands and brand deals to increase your income as a model. Getting signed doesn't mean you'll get work, but learning how to run a business does. So enroll in my Model Masterclass now by going to my website at brandonandrephoto.com.
Yeah, I mean, It's actually a funny story. I was in Fashion Week for social media. I was in Paris for social media, and I went to an Axel Arigato party, after party, the first day of Fashion Week. And at that party, I was getting lit on the dance floor, and someone came up to me and said, "Are you in town for a few days? Are you a model?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Can you come to a casting tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I came to the casting and they booked me for the job. It was Mr. Saturday, a Canadian brand. I think they'd done their second or third runway in Paris that year, which was 2023. And I got the job and I walked the show.
And you were 5'8".
I was 5'8" and 16 years old.
And they didn't mention anything about your height?
No.
What about the other models that you were walking with? Were you the shortest one?
Probably. Yeah. I think they had a bit more of a diverse group, but I was definitely the shortest
Does
one.
that mean that brand was more commercial, or like what was the style of that brand?
I was wearing silk shorts and a silk jacket. So they were going for a more high fashion look for sure. I wouldn't say it was more commercial. It was shot in a beautiful marble building.
Now, when a lot of people think of models who are shorter than like your typical runway model, when they think of those shows, they tend to think, oh, it's probably not a real show. So what would you say to someone that says, oh, well, if there were other models that weren't signed to big agencies, then it was probably not a real show? Was it a real show?
Yeah, I was signed to a big agency, and all the models were signed to very good agencies. They had models flown out from New York to shoot that, actually, to walk that show. And the show, I was actually invited to watch that show as an influencer. So my agency, my social media agency, and all the team that I'm friends with, that we were traveling with there, all had seats front row to that show and watched me walk in.
Wow. What did your Models1 agency say when you got that opportunity? Like, did they organize and orchestrate everything?
Yeah, when I got told that, I said, okay, let me talk to my agency. I spoke to my agency. And that time, I don't think I was signed in Paris. I think I was not signed in Paris yet. And so I did it through my agency in London. I told them, and they were like, oh, yeah, okay, great, go for it. And then I went for it.
So then, now, what was your other shows that you've walked?
And then the fashion week after that in London, I went and I did a few castings for shows in London. And one of them was Masha Popova. And the casting went well. I went to it and... Sorry. The casting went well and I went to it and I got the job.
Oh, I was waiting for an exciting part of the story.
I don't know. There's no more to say. I got in when I did the job. I had bleached blonde hair, and I
How
went in.
old were you at this point?
I was 16, I think, still maybe 17, but around the same height. And I walked into the building at like 8 a.m. I was one of the first models there, and they dyed my hair blue instantly, which was a bit of a shock. I didn't know before I was going there I was getting my hair dyed blue.
Wait, and you were still 5'8" at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
So at that particular runway show, no model looked at you like, what are you doing here?
Nah.
Maybe you were just living in your own world, because that does not seem like the fashion industry. For you to be in a room with a bunch of other models that are like 6'1", 6'2", and then this little 5'8" kid comes in, and I would have thought that they would have like, what is this kid doing here? Like, you're not one of us.
I rocked it with style. I went and talked to them. I made them all my friends.
See, the
I made them more
extrovert.
interesting.
It's called disarming. He probably disarmed them with his personality, with his charm. Disarmed him with his charm.
Well, I just walked in there and I got to know them. You know, a lot of these models are shy at the same time. And when they see someone who comes in and wants to chat to them, they're like, whoa, hold on. This guy actually wants to talk to me. And I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
disarming. You disarm them.
A lot of models are shy. So me going forward to them and I guess stopping them from making those dirty looks because I've already made them my friend before they even got a chance to do that.
Which is another tactic that I tell people: make someone your ally before they become your enemy.
So maybe that's what happened.
At 16, how do you even know to think to do that?
I grew up pretty fast. When I was skateboarding,
I never knew
always
my father. Sorry.
When I was skateboarding, I always knew. I always hung out with older people, so I got prone to, like, they always wanted to teach me stuff and make me their kid in some way, you know.
With your confidence at that age, did you even feel different than other models? Did you even feel different than other models, like with your height and stuff?
It's always been a thing that I've thought about, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's why you don't embrace the petite model.
Nah.
First ever male petite male model.
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's something that boosts me with confidence, to be honest with you. And I think that if I was flipping 6 foot tall, God, the runways and the shit that I'd be doing. Like, if I can do it now with my age and my height, if I was 6 foot tall,
Do you think that
then
that's a setback because of your height? Like, you think that,
yeah,
like,
definitely.
do you think that it's a pro and con to you? Like, you're unique because of your height?
No,
Okay.
no. I think it's a setback.
Do you think you'll grow more? How tall is your dad?
Smaller than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, so he's really Peruvian.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's
I
an even
don't-
bigger deal that you're like modeling, representing like Latin America, because Latin Americans are known for being short, but
Yeah.
you're like on fashion runways or in fashion shows. So how many total runway shows have you done?
Two. Just two.
Oh, just those two.
Yeah, just two.
Okay, and you want to do more?
If it comes. I mean, for me, like, it's not something. I think runways are great, but they don't get you jobs. And I think it's a misconception because there's a guy in our agency that I was spoken to the other day. Amazing model. He debuted for Prada 2 years ago, and then after that has walked every big house you could think of: Dior, Louis Vuitton, everyone really well. And he's done ecom for Prada. He does all this stuff. He hasn't done a job in 6 months. He hasn't done a job in 6 months, and I've been making money. Like, you know, I've been doing jobs every other week, you know, and he hasn't done any jobs in 6 months, and he debuted with Prada. He does Prada ecom. You know, that's crazy. That's crazy. So the fact is that although sometimes, yes, doing high fashion runways translates well to getting jobs in other lands, it's not something you need to hedge your bets on.
Yeah, I also think some people only ever become runway models where they never actually book campaigns, but they just do the runways and stuff. And it's just like, that's why I don't try to glamorize the runway life, because it's not as glamorous as people think it is. I think it's cool. It's an opportunity. I think it's epic. But I think oftentimes being able to do both and making your bread and butter from commercial work is like really dope. But you also been able to do editorial stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's either, I actually don't talk to many models that do editorials anymore, but it's maybe because I live in LA and editorial's not really like a big thing over there.
No, we love our magazines here still.
Yeah, that's what I was told yesterday when I was interviewing the agency owner of Genesis. So now you're in your 3rd year. What are you expecting to come of modeling? Like, are you expecting, like, how do you grow it from here?
How do I grow it from here?
Other than growing yourself.
Fucking hell. I don't expect anything. I think that's a great way to go about it. You shouldn't expect anything in life. You should just work hard and hope that something comes because of what you worked hard on. And something will come if you work hard. And I work fucking hard.
Yeah.
So, and whether that's with modeling or with other things in life, I work hard. And that means that something will come of it. But I don't expect anything from modeling. I'm really thankful for some of the commercial clients that I have on regular ecom here. I'm really thankful for the campaigns that I do here and there, which make a great amount of money on occasion. But for me, modeling isn't my end goal. And I think unless you are a supermodel, unless you are 6'2" and you have my face. No, unless you are 6'2" and you are insanely beautiful and interesting at the same time, and you're like fucking like, yeah, wow, then make that your thing and really work on it, and yeah, cool. But if you're not that, then which by the way, there's 5 people in the last 20 years to be that, like, you know, it's very, very rare, then just do it and have it when it comes. And when it comes, you work hard on it, and when it comes, you perform your best and you meet everyone in the team and you try really hard and you be successful on those days. But when it doesn't come, you work on other stuff. That's not my end goal, and that maybe, you know, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but not you. I'm not going to tell you what you to do, but that's not my end goal. And
you know, I kind of see you doing really well successfully as an actor too. You know, I feel like you have a good actor look, but I think you also have and actors who are watching this are probably gonna be like, what do you know, Brandon? But, you know, there is a degree of self-awareness and fearlessness that it requires to do acting, and I feel like
Well, it's a very translatable skill. It's like dance. I don't know. I've always fancied myself as a dancer. I can't dance for shit, but I think that I can move well.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the Latin hips. I always say.
The line hips. You should watch him as he skates on a board. He shakes some hips.
Whoa. No. I think the. Yeah,
Acting,
I think acting's I think acting's a transferable skill, and I would love to do it one day.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, I'm like, I kind of think of that one show with the money heist.
Yeah.
Actually, you kind of remind me of one of the characters now that I think about it from Money Heist. But no, I think that'd be cool for you to like dive into if the opportunity comes up, especially because you're so young. You're 19, so there's like the possibilities are limitless for you.
Yeah.
But I also think that there's just I honestly think because of the way that the world is moving, you're only going to get more opportunities. I don't think your height's necessarily going to be a limit. Because I think, like I said, as much as you don't want it to be like a marketable thing, you're only going to get more support from people because you're doing something that is not thought to be possible, you know? And at a certain point, you have to think that is your story.
I think that also maybe I'm delusional, and maybe I think I'm the same height as every model when I walk into all the jobs. But I think that the market is different in London and then LA and then Europe as well.
Have you gotten jobs in the States?
No, I signed to them last year. Signed to One Management in New York last year, and I haven't got my visa yet. And, I've got option for a big job recently, actually, which we were gonna like fast track my visa to do so for, but it didn't pull around and didn't do it. End up doing it. But
who's paying for it? You or the agency?
The visa,
the $5,000,
the agency,
as a debt to you.
Yes.
So you're gonna have to pay it back eventually, essentially.
But that job was gonna cover that and give me some money on top.
Oh,
so
damn.
that's why
For like $10,000 or something.
It was a $7,000 job.
Why don't you just pay for your own visa and then like try to get jobs in the United States? Because I feel like you probably do very successfully in the United States and make more money. But like pay out of pocket, pay for like out of all the earnings that you're making, pay for the visa and go get some more money in the States.
Because I'm 19.
What does that have to do with anything?
It means that I don't need to exploit that market yet. It means that I'm working here. Why leave?
To make money?
Yeah, but I'm working. I'm making money here.
I mean, but I'm making money in the States and I'm here.
It's something that my agency are working towards, and that we are in talks about. I mean, this job opportunity happened like a month ago, and we were almost going to go on it and send it. But I'm going to Japan in next month for 2 months.
Okay, let's unpack that because this is something that's really interesting that comes to my mind. Like, why go to Japan or Asian countries to work when like what you actually make doesn't really hold value to here, to like the currency
awful.
here?
Yeah.
So instead of like, I'd rather just like, in my mind, it's like this, wouldn't the smartest thing to be to like, okay, pay the $5,000 to get your visa, because you obviously have the body of work to easily get an O1 visa for the United States, and then the money that you make there, at least, because it's either comparable or we pay more in the States. I'm not really sure.
Definitely pay more in the States.
Okay, so then it's like you're bringing more money from the States, and at least you have like the opportunity to test out and build a market there. Like, why? What's the point of going to like Asian markets?
Well, because I enjoyed traveling, and I'm blessed that this job will allow me to do so.
Okay, sorry, I was thinking about money, you guys. I'm like, why would you go to a place where you're barely making money? Because I like traveling. Oh,
Well, for me, my girlfriend got to come out there for a month when I was in Korea for 3 months, and she came and we had a holiday for a month while I was working. I'm young and I'm just experiencing different places, and living in Korea was an insane experience. It was very impactful for me.
that's where I want to go next year, by the way.
Yeah, it was great. And I'm just kind of ticking them off. I'm doing Japan this year because I've always wanted to go, and it'll be interesting. And then we're going to travel around Asia for a month after, and explore just on holiday. And then next year, maybe we'll do the States. But I also quite fancy going to South Africa or Australia. I think there's maybe a conception where you like, as a model in Europe, you take on Europe and you be the face of Europe. And then once you've done that, you can go to the States and you're a new face. And for me, while I'm still a new face in London, I don't need to take on America yet.
Basically,
you know?
like you want to dominate this market first.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the US market is amazing because it gives you an opportunity to be a fresh face when you're from Europe. So I'm going to work. If I'm still working here, why change that? You know, if I've got clients here that like me and I like them, and it's consistent and it's good, then Why change that? And also, my life is here. My girlfriend's here. My flat's here. The business I'm
But
building is here.
why do you see the U.S. as something different than Korea or Japan or South Africa? Do you feel like it's like more concrete, or just like $5,000 is a lot, and once you invest in it, you're like committing to it?
Well, those trips, I'm not investing in them. Korea, I don't spend any money.
The client flies you out,
The agency fly me out.
but you have to pay them back for the stays and all that.
Yeah, no, you don't.
What do you mean?
So
Great. He's now not only is he an anomaly at being 5'10", now the agencies are paying for everything for him. Okay. What's the deal?
So the way everyone's contracts in Asia work differently, but the way my contract going to Asia the last time I went was I get X amount of fee for X amount of jobs, and that fee is after everything. That's after the flights paid, after the hotels paid, after pocket money for every day.
But you're paying for it out of the jobs that you're doing.
No, because I get a set fee regardless of how many jobs I did.
Meaning, so there, is it like a label where like, hey, we're advancing you this pay, and then you're now working for us for X amount?
Kind of. I mean, they give me a card which they put money on for my pocket money, and I mean I don't touch the flights. They don't send me the money to then go buy the flights. They just buy the flights.
The Asian agency or
The Asian agency
Okay.
front everything, and then like you have to work a minimum of jobs to get your guarantee. That basically.
How is that
it's like-
different than just having the agency pay and then like your work, like the agency creating a debt in your name that when you get jobs it pays that debt back?
It's not. I mean, the way that I understand the contracts work in Asia is I get like you get a set fee per job, and that fee it's not depending on the job. I did a global Samsung campaign and I got paid dirt for it. I got paid nothing for it. You know, not nothing, but it didn't change how much I was getting.
Right.
Yeah,
And you got, what, the Samsung campaign was in Korea,
it was in Korea.
and you got paid a flat rate for it.
I got paid my guarantee. I got paid the price I knew I was going to get before I was going to go out there.
How much of that money did you actually get in your pocket?
I got all of my guarantee. They tell you how much you're going to get
Oh, that's what's
before
called
going out
guaranteed.
there.
This is so confusing to
Yeah.
'cause
So in the States it's different because they fly you out there, or they'll make a debt in your name, and then you'll work jobs, and that jobs will
Pay off the
pay
debt.
off the debt. So, but in Asia, they say you're going to get X amount, and if you do 30 jobs, then you can get a little bit more. But if you don't do 20 jobs, then you're going to get nothing.
but the stay and everything is still paid for.
Yeah.
Interesting. You're 19 years old. Happy birthday. You just turned 19 today. You're building out other aspects of your modeling legs, I guess I would call it, because today we worked on a project that you have. Can you tell us more about what you're doing to make money as a model?
Yes, so I'm created a business as many models do, maybe. But I've created a platform called SEWME, SEWME, which is a marketplace for handmade and emerging designers. I've made clothes for many years. For 6 years, I've handmade clothes, designed clothes myself, and made them with a sewing machine. And I studied it for 2 years. And a problem that I faced was unless I had a website and a marketplace and a brand and content, I couldn't sell my work. And now I've ended up with boxes full of handmade, beautiful garments. And I think that every designer should have an opportunity to sell that work, or to rent it out, or to loan it out for stylists. So I'm creating a platform which releases at the end of this month, which will allow emerging designers to come on, apply to sell their work there, and we will be we'll be a designer department store for emerging and handmade.
That's really cool. So how has it been getting people who you've worked with in the last 3 years support in what you're building?
It's been great because I've made friends with everyone on my set. It means that models, photographers, videographers, people that I've worked with for many years, I've now asked for favors to come back and collaborate with me on the project that I'm doing now, and they're all very keen to support and keen to help out. So it's been great.
What are you hoping to accomplish in your last year of youth?
I've always been the youngest. And now I'm still the youngest, but I'm a little bit less young. So it's funny.
The youngest out of what? Your friends or what?
Friends, sets, shoots,
I know.
everything, man. Everything.
To be fair, I was also in the same shoes because, like I said, I started photography at 17 working with models, and I was always the youngest on set, 17, 18, and everyone was like in their 20s and stuff. And then now I'm the oldest, so. But you know what? It's cool though, because I still look young. That's not the point. But the point is, it's cool because.
The skincare's good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
The point I was trying to say is that it's cool to be at both
ends of the spectrum.
yeah, like having entered so young and then now being like the older one on set because like all the models are your age, but to kind of like see the road ahead and to still be in it, because I think the biggest thing that anybody could hope for being in an industry that's creative is still being in that industry, you know. And I think I'm so proud of myself for the fact that I'm still here doing what I'm doing. I'm not one of those photographers that I did photography when I was young but couldn't figure out how to make money from it. Now I'm very successful as a photographer doing what I do, and I think that's, you know, what but no, I mean, again, these are characteristics though that come to people that are like us, who have this like natural charisma and confidence and stuff. So I mean, I wish you the best of luck. So you're saying
the next year
yeah.
build the platform out. SoMe is my main goal. Modeling and social media I'm working really hard on, but when it comes, and thankfully that's stable, and that's my only paycheck right now, and it has been for the last 3 or 4 months, which has been quite insane, to be fair, because it's never something that I pushed to other people or to myself was, okay, only do modeling. No, I always thought you should have a steady paycheck, which is something else, because not having your money, you know, been less than 3 months time or whatever, and less than on every date at the end of the month is quite hard. But thankfully, touch wood, it's all going well, and I'm able to live off it right now.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to continue doing that and continue building something else which will in turn and ultimately make more money and be more successful and be more longevity, which is SoMe platform. So that's what I'm doing.
That's
and
awesome,
that's
man.
what I'll be building out. That's the plan.
For 19 years. Okay, you've lived 19 years. What is one piece of advice you'd give someone that is younger that is watching this?
The biggest thing for me has been speaking to people. Ask advice, make friends, speak to people.
What's the best question to ask somebody?
I saw this the other day. You should never ask when you have a conversation with someone, you should never ask what they do or what job they do. You should ask what they're working on right now. What's new for them? Because that means that they can tell you about their work, or they could tell you about their hobby. They could tell you about what they enjoy actually doing or their work. And if they enjoy doing their work, they'll tell you about their work. But if they enjoy doing something else and they're more passionate in, they'll tell you about that. And that is way more useful to know. Because then the next time you go to them, you say, "Oh, how you working on that? How is it going now?" You have a lead in every time.
That's smart. I like that. Smart kid. Well, I know you have to get going to your birthday dinner, so I thank you so much for coming on to the show, and I'm sure we'll see more of each other as you continue to grow and as I continue to become famous. Any last things? Anything else you think you need to talk about?
Stay humble. Modeling
what does that mean?
What does that mean? Modeling, yeah, you don't fucking know. That's a clip. But I don't know. Models can get cocky, and I hope I haven't presented myself cocky here today. But just we're just people as well, and I mean, I feel like even more like just a person like that you could as a normal person because of my height and because of these things maybe. You know, I'm not a 6'2" arrogant guy strutting down the street. I'm just more me, but
Pocket sized.
But be yourself. That's wow. Coming from fucking you, bro.
I have to take it out sometimes, you know.
It's the first time you've ever said that to someone, eh? Someone else, other than yourself in the mirror.
Basically, yes, yeah. Usually it's like, you know, putting myself down in the mirror. But
no. But be yourself. Be who you are. Be true to yourself, and just create some energy around you. You know.
Yeah.
That people like you for your energy, for how you can bless other people. What opportunities can you give to other people? How can you help other people? You know, that's how you should look at life in any kind of aspect. That's how I look at life. That's how I try to look at life. That's what I would say.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. Well, you're really intelligent for your age, and like I told you earlier, and this is something that if you're an older person in someone young person's life, that it's important to do, and it's to affirm people, and it's to praise and uplift. And I just want to praise and uplift what you're doing, what I see, because I think it's very respectable. I admire and respect the fact that you're confident enough to take risks, to assemble teams, to like put yourself out there, and to carry yourself in a way that I feel like you are memorable. You will leave an impression on me after having met you today, just because I'm wowed by the fact that you're taking control over things and you're constructing ideas. Even with the projects that he had today with me, like he had a whole like call sheet and like list by list itinerary of what's going to take place today. And a lot of 19-year-olds, they don't think like that, you know, and it's very admirable, and I have so much respect for it. And I don't know you deeply, but I'm proud to see you do this, because, you know, as someone that considers myself a kingmaker, these are the steps into becoming a king. You know, like you're taking ownership, you're taking action, you're making things happen.
Yeah, man, you got to work hard. You got to work hard in this life.
Yeah.
This life is tough. And some people have it easier and some people have it harder. But regardless of that, you got to work hard if you want to do something, you want to be someone. You got to work hard.
Yeah.
And I don't mean push weights in the gym or, I don't know, do a better diet all the time. Like, yeah, you need to do that for sure. That's basics. But you got to do all the extras. You got to be doing everything you can. These last years, the only reason why I do what I do now, why I'm able to present myself how I can, and why I book so many jobs, and why I mean, all these things, is because I worked my ass off, and I was doing so many other things at the same time. I was working in a vintage shop. I was doing college. I was doing modeling. I was posting on social media every day for a year. You know, I was doing all these different things simultaneously, juggling it as a 16-year-old kid, and I was working my ass off. I was, you know, and that was the best way, and that was how I am now, you know, and that's how I still live my life now. I still work like a dog, crazy man. But
and it'll pay off. And that's the thing that
I enjoy it as well.
Yeah,
I enjoy it as well. And if you don't love your work, you're not going to do it.
But I was where you were at 19, and let me tell you, it's going to pay off. So it's going to be hard, you know, because there's so many things that you're still going to learn, and like so many like ups and downs, ebb and flows, and sometimes there's going to be failures, sometimes it's going to be heartbreak. But I want you to just remember this from someone that's lived that same life, is it will pay off. And sometimes it's not going to pay off in the way that you think, and it's not going to pay off in the timing that you think, but it will pay off. So don't give that up. Don't lose sight of yourself, and definitely don't lose your light, because this is a world that is very dark, and when they see someone like you, they either fear it or they try to take advantage of it. But most of the time, those types of people end up trying to put it out. And never allow people to put out your light, because I feel like I still have my light, and that's why I got to where I'm at. Because
hey, I'm shining, man. Don't worry.
No, it's good.
I'm shining. The sun's here today,
there you go.
So we're good.
The bulb is there. But anyway, good stuff, bro. It was great to meet you. Go have a good birthday.
Thanks so much.
And live a lot of a lot of years. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We out.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to today's show, and don't forget to hit that follow button to be in the loop when a new episode drops. Be sure to check out my model masterclass by visiting my website, brandonandrephoto.com, or by clicking the link in my bio on Instagram at @thebrandonandre.